how old are you? What you do?
Yes, I'm about to turn 23. I'm
Hmm.
working in a school right now. I recently graduated with English honors, and
Okay,
like I
wow.
have started YouTube,
Hmm.
and that's what I'm doing.
So
Talking to
what was
you.
your experience of studying English literature, right? Literature.
I wasn't interested in literature, but I was like, I had no idea because like the area I come from, English is seen as a subject. Nobody told me this is a language,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So even though I was fond of stories, I never knew the word literature is a thing. So
Oh,
when I
okay.
was in class 11th and 12th, because of my teacher, I was introduced to it,
Hmm.
literature. And then I thought, I'm not good at any other subjects. Let's go on with English. And
Hmm.
then in my first year, I really struggled. I really struggled with William Shakespeare. I couldn't even comprehend him.
Yeah,
So I
William Shakespeare
thought,
is tough. Tough man.
hmm.
He's tough.
So I gave up. I gave up. Like I read only manga in my first year, and somehow I
Okay.
passed my exam. And then in my second year, I had to read so many novels like Passage to India, R.K.
Hmm.
Narayan,
Hmm.
Kanthapura. There were so many books I had to read, and that's how my interest returned. Like I
Hmm.
kept on reading, and then I became interested in classics. Dostoevsky I read, Tolstoy, and mostly classics I was reading.
Hmm.
So I think this is how my interest, like I wanted to continue reading, and I kept on reading. That's what I did. And in
It's
my third year,
impressive
I
what you
tried.
have read. I have this copy of Crime and Punishment. It's just there on my shelf because I have to mentally prepare myself before
Hmm,
starting that. Like I have to give a month to that book, right? I have seen
yes,
people talk about it. So you
I,
are,
the same thing happened. Like I was reading The Alchemist. The Crime
huh,
Punishment was similar for me. I didn't have to push myself, even though it was language wise
your mind.
challenging.
Yes.
Like the language wise, it was challenging, but because of the internet, I completed it. I had some help. And we were talking about
Hmm.
Khalid Hosseini. How were you introduced to him?
Kite Runner by my
Kite
uncle.
runner.
Yes,
Hmm.
I also read Kite Runner first, and
Hmm.
I was literally bawling my eyes out while reading
Hmm.
that
Same here.
scene
Same
of
here.
Hassan taking back the kite. I was literally
Hmm.
bawling out, and then I read Thousand Splendid Sun, and my Kite
Hmm.
Runner goes here. Thousand Splendid
Hmm.
Suns come here.
There. Yes. Yes.
Mariam and Laila, because I'm a woman, so I resonated with that a lot.
Hmm.
And I went to my mama and I said, "Log iski kyun तारीफ कर रहे हैं? This one is much better." And he said, "I also
Hmm.
like Thousand Splendid Suns more." And then I read all the mountains echoed, but that's
Hmm.
not as impressive as these two.
Did you try reading the last one, Echoed one, Mountain?
Yeah, little bit because sub siblings, yeah, like there's
I
that's
haven't
the
read it.
weak
Don't talk
point.
about it. I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
I'm like, I cry a lot while reading. For example, especially Khalid Hossein. Like in the beginning, while I was reading The Kite Runner, as soon as the characters were introduced, and I think even in the beginning, I was crying, and I knew that this book is going to, have
Because
a.
because we connect with maybe Hassan and his father and how they were treated by Amir and his
Hmm,
father, right?
Amir.
We yes.
But I don't hate Amir. I was reading comments on Instagram. Like, why do they hate him?
He's a kid. He's just a
Hmm.
kid. He's just
Yes,
doing
yes.
what he knows. No, no, I don't hate him. I don't. And
I,
lately, he went to this redemption
yes,
phase of
redemption.
his. Yes.
Hmm.
So why we were hating him?
And Mansi, I wasn't as bad as Hassan as Amir, but there was my cousin who used to live with us, and I treated him really badly. So maybe
Ah,
that was the reason I was really sympathizing with Amir.
yes. You
But
started crying in the beginning.
yes, yes, in the beginning, like I was thinking that how I used to treat my cousin, and now he respects me a lot. Like
Ah,
whatever Bhaiya is
ah,
doing, it's fine.
ah.
But in the beginning, I was thinking, dude, I did really bad things with him. Like we were not like financially good, so I was thinking why my mother is letting him live with us. I was also a kid,
Okay.
and I was thinking,
Uh-huh.
I should not share my stuff with him. I should not share my bed with him or room with him. So that
But
was the
I
thing.
think this is typical sibling stuff. So you don't have to feel that bad because even my
No,
own brother do that with me. So no problem. Huh? It's all
no,
right.
no.
It's
So,
typical
but
sibling stuff.
hmm. And then I read the second book,
Thousand Splendid Suns.
Thousand Splendid Sun, and it hit me like nothing had ever done that before.
Mariam
Like,
and Laila.
Mariam and
Yes.
Laila, and especially I think Mariam is the first one character,
Yes.
the
Yes.
first
Laila
character,
was the younger
Mariam.
one. Hmm.
Mariam, like she went with hell, like, and especially religion. I think I'm not a religious person, but when I was thinking about it, how religion helped her to stay sane. Like
Hmm.
she was praying all the time.
Yes. Also,
Hmm.
like woman to woman, it not happens generally. Like there's a competition kind of thing or jealousy also. Ki I
Hmm.
didn't get this at my time, so why she is getting
Hmm.
all that? But
Hmm.
Mariam and Rilla broke all those stereotypes, right?
Yes,
Mariam
yes,
just
period.
went ahead for her and saved her in some way. So
I
yes,
think the kid helped the kid
yes,
because of the
kid
kid.
help.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And I really love Khalid Hosseini in a manner that he is writing war stories like mystery, like everything is connected at the end.
Is
Do you
writing.
also?
He's not
Hmm.
writing new books. I'm sad. He's not writing. And Afghanistan's condition is getting worse.
Work.
Right? If
Hmm.
you have read A
Maybe.
Thousand Splendid Suns and if you are reading the current news, you will be like, it's worse
Yes,
than
I
what
was
you
thinking.
read.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
And what about your other genres? Are you into fantasies, like the Lord of the Rings kind of stuff?
At all, like nothing. Matlab, I tried Night Circus. I loved
Hmm.
it, but it was just one time read kind of thing. I am
Hmm.
so much into grief. I'm so much into
Great.
grief. I like dark books, which makes me cry or which makes me sit down for hours in dark. So I love those
Hmm.
books. I don't like fantasy magic. I don't. I never liked it as a kid. Also, I don't
Never.
like it. No.
Hmm.
And Frederick Backman, if you haven't read him, na, try him. Frederick Backman, A Man
I'll
Called
check
Ove,
it out.
Anxious
I
People.
have heard of the book. I have heard of
Huh.
the book,
Hmm.
but not the author.
He is so good with the mundane life plus the
Hmm.
losses of it. So good. And also
I'll.
there's a bit
I'll.
of humor. So you
Hmm.
won't like continuously you won't be crying, but in between laughs, cry like that. I have read
Hmm.
so many books by him, and every one
Books are
is masterful.
expensive, especially the books you are talking about. They are expensive. And where I live in, there is no second-hand library or even library second-hand who talks about it. Like I
No,
just have
no
to
bookstore
order.
here in Bareilly.
Hmm.
It's a mega city, and recently
Hmm.
one bookstore expanded. The academic books store
Hmm.
expanded to novels category, and now he is saying ki beta just circulate through your social media ki people come, otherwise we have to close it. So I'm like doing it for free. I'm promoting them for free ki bhai chalta rahe Bareilly mein, but there's no
Hmm.
bookstore here also.
Have you been to Delhi? Like there is a book place called. You haven't been. I was this year. I was there, so I got like 2 years of collection. Like whatever it involved in my read list, I got it from there. Like second hand bookstore was there, Daryaganj.
हाँ
Like and there I
दरियागंज
got
आई नो
everything.
अबाउट इट यस यस ये
So
लाइक
I went.
किलोज में बुक मिलती है ना यस
Yes, in Kilo. Yes, and then there is, I'm forgetting the name. Sunday Book Bazaar. I think it is called Sunday Book Bazaar. So there you
ओके
get like pirated books. You
हाँ
know,
हाँ गॉट इट
I
हाँ
got everything there.
हाँ
And so you are planning to continue your YouTube talking about books and all?
Yes, yes. I started YouTube, then I took a good 1.5 year break because family marriage and everything. Then I came
Hmm.
back and now I'm doing this books this week segment every Sunday or every other Sunday where I talk about
Hmm.
books released or published recently. But
Hmm.
people then said कि बहुत ज़्यादा recommendations हो रहे हैं, slow down, slow down.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
I'm doing one Sunday books this week, one Sunday some other video review or anything like that. And Roshan, you are saying about books being expensive or not having fairs. So there's a
Hmm.
boy in my book club, Shantanu. Once we
Hmm.
are having this meet, 4 or 5 people, and they were talking about how book fair is in Pune and everything. And I was like, "Arey, mere shahar mein to koi book fair lagta hi nahi hai." I was so disappointed. And he pointed
Hmm.
out, he said, Mansi, there was a time when people couldn't even afford a single book, right?
Hmm.
Even
Hmm.
if I wanted to do it as a woman, I couldn't. As a like small family, I couldn't afford it. And he said, we
Hmm.
have so much at exposure right now, online,
Hmm.
offline,
Internet.
bookstores, secondhand, everything.
Hmm.
He said, take the
We should not be
opportunity of
complaining.
those.
Hmm.
Stop complaining. Took that opportunity. So I will say same to you. Just take that
Hmm.
opportunity.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
I can also give you books. Like I get books from Penguin and HarperCollins as a book reviewer. Per
Hmm.
month, I get 1 or 2 books from them for reviewing.
Hmm.
So you can ask any books for me. If I get double copies, if I get, I will love to say because my mama
Sure.
says,
Sure.
Manishu,
Hmm.
book jo bhi mange, just give them.
दे दो
Like don't buy, borrow, steal. Right? Have you heard that?
हम्म,
Yes.
But nobody is stealing from me. Like I force my friends, they are not into reading. I actually force them. You have to read this. You have to
Not
read this.
mine too.
But they are not.
No,
Hmm.
they are
And
so bad that
actually,
huh, if I say
this
that I
was.
have posted this video, just go ahead and
Hmm.
watch or like or anything, and they're like, books में हमें interest नहीं है, English हमें समझ
नहीं
में नहीं आती,
है.
हम क्या करें? They just
Same
give up
here. This is
completely.
the
Yes.
problem here.
Huh.
And this was the reason I actually started talking about it here. Like I just wanted to talk, right? One day, like I thought that I'm a really camera conscious person, so I was planning that I will write first, I will
Hmm.
script, I will get a camera, then only I will talk. But one day in January, the motivation we get in January, right? So I was in my room, and I started rambling about the books I had read. And I'm really grateful for January in Rawson. And because of it, I have met so many people because of the books and YouTube.
Obviously. You are forming your own community. Don't look after your friends. Books वालों को पकड़ो who resonates
Yes,
with
yes,
you,
yes.
right?
Yes, that's why I have been writing. Like I'm really grateful that you wrote back. I haven't
Hmm.
received any like I think I have written to 5 or 6 people. So far only you have
Like
replied.
now, if I post, then you post, maybe two or
Hmm.
three people will develop their interest, or
Yes.
maybe they ping me that who is this boy and what are you talking about. I can just say ki just go ahead and talk with him on that
Yes, yes. So
channel.
are
Yes.
you also going to post it?
Yes, yes.
Our
I would love to
conversation?
post it. I'm
Yes.
feeling like a celebrity on a podcast. Why wouldn't I post it, right?
Then I
Obviously,
should
I will
not be,
post
I
it.
should not call it Sasta podcast today.
No, it's a very special podcast. Huh? No, no, I will
Yes, yes.
love to on YouTube, on Instagram. I will post it. Yes, you
Yes.
post it, then I can reshare it on platforms. Yes.
Yes, sure, sure. And if you have ever if you ever want to do it, and we can plan some more things, movies, book
I would love
recommendation.
to. I would love to. Yes,
Hmm.
yes, definitely.
And what about your other preferences apart from Hollywood? Do you watch movies from Korea, Japan, or
I
good
hate
movies?
this K-pop
Sometimes.
and
No, not
disco,
K-pop, not K-pop type of things.
K-drama.
No, no,
I,
no, no. I'm talking about just in movies general, movies like Parasite or Memories of the Murder, this kind of stuff. Old Boy.
thriller I love reading also,
Hmm.
watching also, but I
Hmm.
I can't see so much gore content. It grosses
Oh.
me out. So
Hmm.
I can read that. I can read most grossest thing, but I can't watch that. Because I have this memory. I will keep seeing those same scene in my everything, so I'll remain away
Hmm.
from it. But rom-coms I hate. If you see on Bookstagram or Book Talk, people are
Hmm.
going nuts over this man, this fictional man, or this book. And when I read it, I was like, इसमें ऐसा क्या था? Like, what was there? So, rom-com
Hmm.
is overhyped, and like they are
Hmm.
making people gods or something. Like, उनके पास job अब नहीं हो, पूरा दिन सिर्फ relationship को सही
किताबें
करने में
पढ़ते
लगे हैं.
हैं.
But if you are an adult and you have a job, have a family, you will say, अरे ऐसा नहीं होता real life में. It's not
Hmm.
practical at all. So
Hmm.
that I don't like. Yeah, I like thriller. I like grief. I don't like happy ending, to be honest. I want it
Don't
my
like.
life, but I don't like to read in books or like
Hmm.
tragic ending stays with you for a long period of time. Right? Happy
Yes,
endings aayi or gayi.
we forget about it, right?
Ah, yes.
And what about classics? Are you into it?
Yes, I read Jane Austen. I love her.
Hmm.
Pride and
Hmm.
Prejudice. I read Madame Bovary. I loved that book. I read it
Hmm.
during that pandemic time, so I read it so quickly in 2 or 3
Yes.
days, and I loved it. The Scarlet Letter, that A wala, that
Hmm.
book is fascinating, and I love the representation of women in classic. Importantly, like,
Classics.
huh,
Hmm.
then I appreciate what I have right now. You know, when you
Yes, yes,
read,
I
yes,
understand.
yes,
Hmm.
Virginia Woolf's book, A Room of One's Own, where she is talking
Ah.
about that she have to hide her pen and notebook when someone comes, because women at that time were not into so much writing, or they were
Hmm.
looked at as a choti nazar se. If you are knitting,
Hmm.
if you are drawing something, then you are good. But if you are writing, not. So I appreciate a lot कि भाई, why are people after feminism? हमारा काफी feminism हुआ है, so
Yes,
it
yes,
makes
yes.
you appreciate more. Yes.
Have you read To the Lighthouse? I think it is by Virginia Woolf.
No, no, no. I started it, but it was on digital platform, Juggernaut's app. Then I
Hmm.
lost the downloaded version, and then I left it in between.
Currently, I was trying to read it, but it's really difficult to comprehend. Like language-wise, it's
Huh,
difficult. But
got it.
I will read it. Hmm.
I
And
read Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar, recently.
hmm,
Sylvia
I
Plath.
haven't heard of it. Like I
Haven't
have
heard of.
only mostly, like this is what I have read. Mostly classics
Mhm.
and some books like The Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, children's book.
Okay, okay.
I have read those kind of. But
Huh.
I'm getting into, the real stuff which you were talking about earlier.
Yes,
Like
yes.
धीरे धीरे exposure हो रहा है. So let's see. It
Hmm.
will take time. It's not that I'm spending a lot of time reading. Like whenever before sleeping in bus, I can read in bus. So that's what I'm doing
Okay.
to work.
Like these authors, Sylvia Plath, Virginia Woolf, they were
Virginia Woolf, I have heard of Virginia Woolf, and
Huh.
I'm looking forward to it. Like because of you talked about feminism, like I have
Hmm.
watched a few essays on it, and
Hmm.
really intrigued me.
So they were writing masterpieces at that time. At that time,
Hmm.
literally, it's a very like salute karne wali cheez. But
Hmm.
still, they died by suicide by the end. So
Hmm.
it's
Hmm. Like
tragic,
it's
but at the same time, you will understand that we can talk so much intellectual things. We can understand life so much better, but still,
hmm.
what's inside can eat you alive, right? So that
Definitely.
contradiction, very nice.
And I like when I was reading Leo Tolstoy,
Hmm.
that Russian author, he talked about how he wanted to kill himself. And I was like, yes. And I have been in bad space, and I like how all of those guys, like we are so universally related, even though
Yes,
they are from different culture, but they went through the same thing which we are going through, different circumstances, but still
like you can
like,
have you can have everything in your life,
hmm,
but you can still feel so empty inside, and these authors will
hmm.
tell you that. French Kafka, right? He
Yes,
is
Frank
French
Kafka.
Kafka. And
Hmm.
Russian literature, there's a meme on Instagram I saw
Like
that
how
there's a.
depressing they are.
Yes, yes, like gray literature, then black literature, then blackest dark literature. That's Russian literature. They write so
Hmm.
depressing content, but that's what we
And
are
I
after.
think that's one of the reasons why I really like Dostoevsky. I was
Hmm.
reading The Brothers Karamazov, and even in that book, there was so much about grief and the struggle, not having a father or even having a father. There was just so much to talk about in that book. And the
Like,
way he takes religion in his books is out of
hmm.
this world.
Like the
Like in
thing about
every
grief,
book you.
thing about
Hmm.
grief is Roshan, ki when you start reading these stories or these characters, then your grief
Hmm.
seems so smaller, so
Yes,
small,
it does.
right? So you
Hmm.
you are like, ki, I have so much. You start being gracious towards what you
Hmm.
have instead of complaining all the time, because उनका grief देख के लगता है they are dealing with so much and is
So
still
much.
doing so much, right?
Hmm.
So that's why I
Yes.
love grieving books.
And what about anime and manga? Do you read much comics?
No, my
Not even as a
cousin,
child.
he is my age, my cousin, and we have a very
Hmm.
beautiful bond. So he forced me to watch some movies or some series. Series I couldn't complete, but movie I have seen Your Name and one two more.
Your name.
I love
Yes.
that. I love
You
that.
loved it, right?
But
Hmm.
I couldn't read manga. First of all, I don't own it, and second of all,
Hmm.
I didn't think about spending my money to read it. अगर कोई
Expensive.
दे देगा, maybe I will
Yes.
read, maybe I give it a read, but otherwise,
Hmm.
no, no interest. I used to call it comics, and he become very
Yes, yes.
offensive.
Even
It's
with
not
anime, when people call it animation or
comics.
like cartoon,
Yes,
they get
yes,
angry. I don't
cartoon.
understand why.
Yeah, Naruto.
So
I want to watch. Maybe I will.
Naruto,
Naruto. It's very
I
famous.
haven't watched it. Hmm.
Oh, you
Like One
haven't?
Piece, Naruto. Like I was watching anime a lot back in the days, but not like mainstream. Mostly like I have watched mainstream, but I was more into story kind of stuff like ping pong animation. There is this, and it
Okay.
was really beautiful. I'm more into that different kind of animation style with slice of life genre, but there
Huh.
should be a story. I
So
really
yeah,
enjoyed it.
do you watch sitcoms like Friends or Brooklyn Nine Nine, Big Bang Theory,
No,
like
no, no.
that? No.
Yes, I no, like I wanted to watch, but then again, they were just too long. I used to watch web shows a lot in the
Huh.
during lockdown. During lockdown, I
Huh.
watched Peaky Blinders, Game of Thrones, and
Huh.
like most popular shows I watched.
Huh.
And
Huh.
then recently, I was trying to watch Normal People. It is very famous, right?
Yes, but
Normal
I read
People.
that book and I was like, बात क्यों नहीं हो पा रही है तुम दोनों लोग से?
They
I
were
was
only
so
going after
irritated,
men.
so irritated. And the show went popular. I haven't watched it. I like those small reels. I love that. Maybe I watch it,
Even reels, yes.
but the books I hated because lot of miscommunication. I hate miscommunication too, because you are
Hmm.
creating problems on your own. No one is creating them for you, right?
I actually read the book, not the web. Didn't watch the web show, and I also felt that same thing. But of course, that when he was suicidal and going through that
Ha,
phase,
ha, ha.
I was able to understand it. But apart
Ah.
from they were just sleeping a lot together. I didn't relate with that. But other
Like,
stuff,
it's
it was fine.
Hollywood. They do anything and they're like, they won't confess that they like you. They won't confess that they love you. What? Kya ho jayega? Just you are living together, right? Just say
Mhm.
it aloud. So it's like miscommunication, lot of miscommunication. I hate that.
And what about Murakami? Have you read any of his books?
Yes, Kafka on the Shore, Norwegian Wood. Norwegian Wood is classic. It will be a classic in
Hmm.
upcoming time.
Classic, yes. Hmm.
Kafka is a little bit surrealism at its top
Hmm.
notch. Like leech गिर रहे हैं, fishes गिर रही हैं. It's a little bit gross, but still
Hmm.
his writing is so fascinating you can't
So
put down.
yes, it's so easy to read. Even
Hmm.
language-wise, I think people who are starting, they can understand his books quite easily.
Hmm.
We will talk more.
Hmm.
Like I have to go now, but hopefully in future
Obviously.
we are doing it again,
Yes, yes.
right?
Definitely. Definitely, Roshan. I love talking to you. Yes.
Same here. Thank you so much, Mansi. Thank you so much for
Okay,
joining.
okay. Thank you, Roshan. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.